do you think the best Bournemouth accommodation is at the moment?
There we go.
Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, course, and year?
I am Jonathan Young. I've just finished my second year studying television production at Bournemouth University.
And would you like to say your hometown?
I'm from Hertfordshire. So.
Okay. So could you remind us of the course you're taking?
I'm doing television production.
And why did you choose your course?
It was it was a kind of a tough choice at first because the college course I did was a film and TV thing, but as I kind of transitioned, it was just how many opportunities it had. Like there was so much that you could just try and do with like roles or just the stuff that you could make. Like there was just such a wide array of stuff that I could have done.
Okay. And obviously you said you've just finished your second year. So what have you thought of your course so far?
I've absolutely loved it. It's been like so good. Stressful, but.
So did you come from a sixth form or college background?
I came from a college background.
And what subjects did you take in college?
I did film and television media production, so it was a mix of everything.
And did this subject, obviously with the mix, help you in your university course?
Yes, it 100% did.
How did it help?
I think the big thing was just like learning how to use the equipment. That was the thing going into college that I think I was the most unfamiliar with, and that was a good starting point. But then university just kicked up a notch with like obviously much better equipment. So.
Okay, and what do you think the best A-levels slash subjects are for your course?
Something along like I think there were like specific film and TV courses. Obviously, with sixth form, it's different. They're kind of more theory based. So I think I'd say sixth form, if you're looking at doing film and TV, that is if you want to go into like more kind of maybe the theory side. And then I think college is if you want to do practical or potentially just a mix of both.
Okay, so could you remind us of the university you're currently studying at?
I'm studying at Bournemouth.
And if we talk about the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University, starting off with the worst.
Oof, I don't really have I think there's no like general ones. I think the specific ones are just based on everything that's happened in the last year. Just kind of
some examples.
We had strikes at the beginning of the year, which we were worried that some of our shoots were going to get cancelled. We had delayed results, and then obviously COVID came along, and that completely just. We had literally just started shooting our main TV show. We only got one episode in before we had to just completely move the whole thing online.
Okay. So can you tell us about the best things about studying at Bournemouth?
Oh, I'm going to have to narrow it down. There's quite a lot. I think it was kind of the overall atmosphere. I knew how kind of highly regarded the whole university was. But then I really figured that out. The facilities were fantastic. The beach, kind of, as you mentioned before, was just kind of a great place to go. And then it was just the whole atmosphere was just really kind of welcoming. It was just really nice.
It's a nice place to be in general.
Yeah.
So if we go into your accommodation for the last 2 years, where did you stay in your first year?
I stayed in Purbeck House.
Could you tell us about what it was like living in Purbeck House?
It was really nice. I was kind of nervous going in because obviously I hadn't really lived by myself, and the whole kind of money aspect was a bit scary at first. But I think just figuring out, one thing we did was just kind of figuring out who on my course was in the same accommodation. That just kind of, obviously meeting my new flatmates, that just really helped me settle in. And it was just a really nice, aside from the building work that was going on.
Okay, and could you tell us? And could you tell us, living in Purbeck in general, what kind of house is Purbeck House for students? Is it the quiet house? Is it the party house? Is it the work house?
I'd say it was kind of in the middle. It was there were quiet areas, but then there was also you'd get the occasional just parties going on. There wasn't really much of a kind of a study room, so any work that you would do, you probably just do in your flat. So.
Okay, so where are you living in your second year?
I was in a rented house in second year in Winton.
And what was the transition like from Purbeck House to a rented house?
It was different because I think it was still the biggest thing about it was probably the money side, because in first year we didn't have to set up like bills or anything, and that was I think the whole process of getting a house was kind of thrown at us quite quickly, because I think I was only there for like 2 months and they were already talking about, oh, you need to get a house quickly or all the good ones are going to go. Like,
And did you get a good house or a bad house?
I was happy with the one I got. We unfortunately didn't get the first choice one that we wanted. We literally rang up the lettings place to get it, and within like that 5-minute period, somebody else had booked it. So we had like a second choice one, which I liked, but I obviously would have preferred the first one we had.
And living in the house, what would you say the biggest difficulty, except for the, obviously, like you said, the money was? Or was it just
aside from that, I think it was just that. Aside from that, there wasn't a ridiculous amount of difference. Like, shopping and everything felt the same, like, in a way. I think it was just that aspect of it.
So what do you think the best Bournemouth accommodation is at the moment?
In terms of like comparison between halls and accommodation.
Yeah, for price.
Like, price-wise, it's the houses, but I'd say, in my personal opinion, in terms of like quality and just kind of like atmosphere, I would go with the halls. Like, I've decided to go back into halls for my final year.
What are you going into?
I'm going into Oxford Point. So,
and why have you chosen Oxford Point over the others?
There are only a certain ones available if you're choosing to kind of stay on in halls. And then I just kind of did some research into it and just thought, yes, it's more expensive, but I know it's the situation that I prefer living in.
Okay. And why would you say you prefer living in halls than a house?
I think it was just kind of the general atmosphere, like, and it's also kind of closer to everything in a way. And yes, I'm saying that because of like the clubs and stuff. But then it was also, it's nearer like the main town centre, so there's more so I can go. And like in first year, I went to the beach a ridiculous amount. So it was just the little things, really. Like,
if we talk about the Bournemouth area, could you tell us about the Bournemouth nightlife?
It's very varied in terms of, I'd say it's varied in terms of quality. There are some really good ones, and then there's some bad ones that I've heard about.
What's the club for you?
Ooh, I think first year was probably the old fire station for me, personally.
And second year?
Same answer.
Same answer. So the fire station's where?
I'd say that's probably where I ended up going the most.
Okay. And in Bournemouth, are there a lot of shops? So are there a lot of different kind of shops, or is it just your basics? Like, your Primarks and Next and JDs?
I mean, yes, but it's so spread out, and there's like obviously independent stuff as well. But I never really felt like you're short on choice if you need to go and look for anything.
Okay. And if we talk about restaurants and food shops, again, is it just your standards, or is there like loads of different shops you can get?
There's obviously the standard ones, but then there's the smaller ones as well. So I don't think I really
shops.
Yeah, I feel like the shops, I obviously kind of went for more when I was just looking for something that maybe I couldn't find somewhere else.
Is there anything you think students should know about being in the Bournemouth area in general? Kind of living there?
You think of anything in terms of like.
Okay.
It just feels pretty normal. So.
That's fine. So obviously you've been there for 2 years, did you get a job at Bournemouth yet?
I applied for like the ones inside the university, so like the cafe and like the student shop. I didn't end up getting those, but then I kind of realised with what my area of subject is, it's something that I need to dedicate a lot of my time into. So having a job might like I know people on my course who are like working, but instead like at the end of first year I got one of the jobs as a student ambassador. So
being a student ambassador, what did you kind of like do? Was it good pay? And what did you enjoy it?
Yeah, like there's a variety of different ones that you can do. Like I'm doing one for blogging and vlogging, which is basically like not really promotional material for the university, but just kind of similar to what we're doing now, just kind of talking about your experience. Yes, the pay is very good, and you kind of get given a lot. You get like a basic idea of what topic you need to talk about, and then you can write it in your own way. And if you need to change anything, you can.
Okay, so while at Bournemouth University, have you done any societies?
I not in first year, but in second year I did. Yes,
Who did you join?
I joined the Performing Arts Society and also the Nerve like Media Society as well.
And what did you think of being a part of them? What did you kind of do?
I think Parts was a big one. Nerve kind of was figuring out what they wanted to do, so there wasn't really much. But in terms of like Parts, it's one of the biggest societies at the university, so it was just they had a lot on offer as to what you could do. Like there was as Performing Arts thing, there was like the main cast of like productions they were doing backstage, and then just kind of general social stuff as well.
Okay, so could you tell us about Bournemouth Freshers, your experience?
I think I was unsure what it was going to be like at first because I hadn't really like been out at all. So I wanted to, obviously I went to only a couple of things during Freshers because I didn't know what it was like. So there wasn't really much.
So you did.
I think the Freshers Fair was probably the biggest thing because that was when you kind of got a good idea of what Bournemouth, like both the university and also the area, had to offer for students. And I guess it was a very different experience from my like going into second year as well.
So what advice in general would you give to students about to start university?
I think kind of for me it was just like there are going to be things that you are going to be worried about, but once you figure out kind of a system of how to manage them, it becomes a lot less challenging. Like with the money side of it, that's probably the biggest aspect that I know I've spoken to people who I know worried about it, but then I think the other thing was just settling in, like meeting new people, like engaging in the social aspects was like really helpful to like both settling into Bournemouth, but then also just getting to know people. That's just, I just say don't worry about like, the little things because yes, they're going to be, yes, I know I can't exactly stop that, but they'll be very easy to manage if you figure something out.
And what advice would you give to students about to study at Bournemouth University?
I guess it just kind of depends on what field you want to go into. So I guess I think do more research than I did because I felt like I was kind of different. I didn't go to Bournemouth thinking I was going to do TV because I didn't know that course existed because that was just kind of a lack of research. So I feel like a good amount of research will help you figure out if this is the right area for you.
And what advice would you give to students about to study your course?
I think go in having an idea of what areas you want to focus on the most because there'll be a lot of opportunities coming up in first year to try everything, but then second year you can really narrow down what you enjoy the most and what you want to pursue.
Okay, so obviously you chose going to university over an apprenticeship / going right into work. What made you choose university?
I think it was just I'd kind of heard a lot of things from my brother. Yeah, he's in a completely different area, but of study. But he made it sound like just so fun, and I didn't really want to jump straight into work without feeling like I had the right skill set to like actually be able to manage it.
So could you tell us about your YouTube channel?
It started off as just kind of, I think I started it like in 2016 as just kind of a fun thing that I wanted to do, where I just kind of uploaded just kind of random videos, but now I've kind of tailored it to my film and TV side. So right now it's becoming kind of an archive for work that I uploaded from college and also both from first year of university and hopefully second year if I can find the videos.
So what should a student expect when they come to your channel? The main kind of content?
The main kind of content will be now the television production side of it. I think I uploaded a couple of just like the full productions that we made alongside kind of the earlier stuff. which is still there, but it's not really being made now.
So would you say any student kind of interested in television, they can just go to the channel, kind of learn what it's like to be at uni and do television, see your projects, and kind of get a good feel for who you are?
I guess it's just kind of, I think because I feel like 2016 me is kind of a different me from, like, so I feel like it's the best place if you want to go just to get a brief idea of these are some of the shows that you could potentially make at some point.
So at this point, we let students have what I like to call a free-for-all, where you could say what you like, you could give advice, you could give a story, you could put your ads, your social medias, literally anything you want. The floor is yours.
Oh, not come prepared for that. I don't know. I feel like it really just, in terms of like choosing university, I think, as I said before, just do a lot of research into it, because I feel like that will really help. So I feel like, yes, I absolutely love where I am now, but I feel like going to the open day, there are a couple of areas that I could have looked into more. So I think it's just try and figure out if this is the right choice for you, and if you said, like, always consider other opportunities as well. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.